on February 6th at 4 a.m. in the morning. A massive earthquake hit the southeast of Türkiye. This is the strongest earthquake to happen in this past century and the region. Two separate earthquakes measured at 7.4 and 7.8 on the Richter scale happened. This is equivalent to an energy release of 130 atomic bombs each. Thousands of buildings have collapsed, spread between 11 cities in total, affecting approximately 13.5 million people. The injured and the death toll is rising as we speak, and there are still people buried under the rubble waiting for help. The Turkish government announced state of emergency level 4, appealing for help from the international community. We, as the Turkish-Canadian community here in Victoria, see ourselves very lucky and grateful to call Victoria and British Columbia home. As we know what a well-knit community we are strong together and we need your help. There are multiple platforms through which you can support. Thank you for joining our Help Türkiye fundraiser today. Mert and I, Selda, will be your hosts of tonight's fundraiser. We are gathered to help raise awareness around what has happened in the aftermath of the earthquakes that have happened in the southeast region of Turkey and Syria. And we will have guest speakers who will be able to talk to the state in terms of numbers, what's going on and what is needed, both back on site, and what kind of volunteer work has already been accomplished in raising awareness and uniting to have one front in helping. Mert, would you like to talk about what our group of volunteers consists of and who we are?
So we are approximately 300 Vancouver Island-based Turkish Canadians residing in here from all ages, from school ages all the way to working in many different industries. We are volunteering to achieve and help our country as best as we can and the neighboring surrounding countries.
And we wanted to start with acknowledging the search and rescue team that has already left and is on scene and has already completed successful rescues from under the rubble. Thank you, Burnaby Search and Rescue, for answering this call so diligently and already being on scene. Our hearts are with you. Thank you so much. We are on the phone with the Turkish consul, Taylan Tokmak, who is located in Vancouver at this time. And as we just called him, we caught him in the warehouse here in Vancouver, working with the donations volunteer team. Good day, Mr. Tokmak. How are you?
Hello. Well, I'm trying to be okay, facing all this, disasters. Mm-hmm. We are running around, trying not to think too much about suffering in Turkey right now.
At the warehouse right now, can you be our eyes and ears?
Well, yeah, you should come and see. I don't know, people, we are a bit overwhelmed. There's so much donations pouring in. The capacity of the warehouse is almost full. I mean, the huge warehouse is almost all full. And I just recently asked a couple of mayors to find us a new warehouse, a bigger one. Yesterday we sent to Turkey with Turkish Airlines like 1.6 tons. Tuesday we sent, it was our first shipment, it was 2.2 tons. Tomorrow I think almost 2 tons we are going to send. So like every week 3 flights, almost 6 tons each week we will be sending off. But then we send 2 tons. Daily we receive 4 tons, so so it is it's a huge act of solidarity we are seeing from people here in BC, and it's it makes us very emotional. But at the same time, we are trying to cope with this pace of processing all these donations because we have a huge team. Like right now, 100 people are working. Mm-hmm. Not only Turkish Canadians, but from all Canadians are
all
here.
Of our fellow citizens are uniting around us. I understand.
We are focusing on winter tents, okay, and sleeping bags, mm-hmm, and blankets, but just for cold, frigid temperatures. And if they're in Vancouver, we will be needing human power. Persons who will be doing packaging, sorting, those kind of things to work
So
on
we
that.
hear very clearly that the community responded and was very quick, and many of the physical needs look like have been answered for now. What do you anticipate ongoing needs will be for all of our fellow citizens here who would like to provide sustainable and ongoing support? What kind of things can they do?
Thank you. This is very good, accurate question. Actually, thank you for that. So I would like to advise everybody that as Vancouver Consulate, we are even us, we are gathering so many supplies here in all Turkish missions throughout the world. It's the similar situation. So we are like seeing so much help coming from all nations in the world, everywhere. And we are carrying them. We are, airlifting them to Istanbul. And then our Central Disaster Relief Agency, AFAD, they are coordinating the dispatch of, these crates or pallets to earthquake zones. And already now we have a lot in Turkey. So we have to plan, next month, like 50 days later. So what we are sending slowly from here will be used by these people who survived the earthquake to keep them alive, out in the open cold. They need tents, and it's really cold. Sadly, I see that, for example, someone who was trapped under the rubble, by the time they reach that person, he's just blocked, his exit is blocked, or her, this person's, and there's no bodily injury, no traumatic injury, but froze to death. So, and now even if they save you, that freezing temperatures right now, it's all snow there, it's the biggest challenge.
What is a call of action that you would like us to do?
Right now, I would like to advise all the Turkish Canadians that I know that everybody is very emotional, and this distance, being far away from Turkey, you want to help, and then you are aware that you are far away from Turkey, and it creates an additional stress on you because of this distance. As the Consulate General of Turkey here in Vancouver, I want them to a bit slow down and then follow our announcement. So there is no need to really hurry. We need to plan for the future of these people. It shouldn't be just like a couple of days or 1 week effort. So my call to also Turkish Canadians, take things a bit slow. If we need something very urgent, they can be sure that they will hear from us.
Is there anything else that you would like to add, Mr. Tokmak?
I'd like to thank you very much for calling, and I just want to remind that there's Canada's only search and rescue team working in Turkey is from Burnaby, USAG, Urban Search and Rescue. 10 people. They called me Monday morning. They said they're ready. We did their accreditation to AFAD on Monday night, and Tuesday we did the ticketing and sent them to Istanbul, and they are in Adıyaman, working in Adıyaman. And this morning they saved, after 100 hours, one person, a miracle. They made, and this make all people of BC, not only Turkish Canadians, but all people living in BC proud. And I am sure they are proud. I am, because I am proud.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Consulate Tokmak. That is a miracle news.
Absolutely. Just imagine leaving the physical distance and all the work they needed to get in line to respond in time before the deadline ran out.
For the search and rescue team to be able to get there as quick as possible and being able to save somebody 100 hours later, it's a miracle.
There was, to make things clear, there was just only one application from Canada. And then we processed it very, very quickly, because it was only one team wanting to go from Canada. And they were dispatched to Adıyaman without waiting.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Consul.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Tokmak.
you.
And now we have MLA Adam Alston joining us from Saanich North and Gulf Islands. Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation, Mark.
If you could tell us what you exactly do when it comes to as an MLA and what area you represent.
Yeah, so I'm a provincial elected representative, meaning my work is very much focused on the province of British Columbia, a subnational government here in Canada, west coast of Canada, and my focus is really much on provincial issues as anything else. So I represent, as you noted, Saanich North and the Islands. It's the 3 municipal communities on the Saanich Peninsula, including 4 First Nation communities and several dozen Gulf Island communities through the Salish Sea.
That's awesome. And as far as I know, the works that we have done so far, we have set up a donations office at your constituency office, right?
Yeah, so I think that it's really just important to acknowledge, for me to acknowledge the humanitarian crisis that is being faced in Turkey and in Syria right now as a result of the earthquakes. And it's heartbreaking to see the images coming out of the region. And I know I reached out to you. I've got very few connections with the community. You happen to be the strongest connection I have. So I wanted to reach out and just say, how could we, in our constituency office in Sidney, help? And to this stage, we're accepting donations at our constituency office. We're open Monday to Friday. You can find out information at saanichnorth.com. We're located at 9828 4th Street in beautiful Sidney by the sea, and we are collecting, and we have been actually, I've been working in my constituency office today, Martin. There's been a steady flow of people bringing items into our office. We're taking the physical items into our office, and we've got quite a bit of space, and we hope to fill it up, and for that material to be taken out and sent off, and for us to fill it up again as is needed in the communities that have been impacted by the devastating earthquakes.
Mr. Lawson, I just want to say, on a personal note, thank you so much on the day one reaching out to me and making sure my family, my friends, and the citizens of our countries was okay. Thank you so much. That was very meaningful of you. And also, thank you so much for making the time today to join us and give a synopsis of what have we done so far and your constituency office's help. And just to clarify, it is located at 9828 4th Street in Sidney, British Columbia. Mr. Olson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity to share just a few words, and I just want to say that it's in times like this that we really recognize that we are all brothers and sisters in humanity, and when we see the communities in pain and suffering, that the least we can do is to step up and to show love and support in every way that we can. And so that's the spirit with which I reached out to you, Erin, and I look forward to continuing to support in the ways that we can.
Can't agree with you
Mr.
more.
Walson, this is Zelda, the co-host speaking. Thank you for being a representative to us and also to the surrounding countries that are under the suffering right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, sir.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Much love to you both. Take care.
Take care.
Having said that, I would like to add that not only Mr. Walson's constituency office is accepting donations, the volunteer group here in Victoria has also managed to secure a room in the UVIC, I can never pronounce this properly, sorry, in the UVIC Clearihue building, room D123. We have the room secured until the end of February 17th as of right now. Right now, the decision is to accept donations, non-perishables, can be canned item, dried foods, blankets, baby diapers, baby formula, and feminine hygiene products. There's also secondary work being done. We're still trying to work on organizing this. And if there's any local volunteers who would like to come and join and help here in Victoria, we would be forever grateful. We're also accepting donations for a fundraiser live auction. The date will be determined, but we do have the warehouse and the space right now to accept whatever you see has value to you that also might have value to others, and add value to the financial donations that are going through multiple different platforms and agencies right now. We will, whatever money is raised, we will donate the money through the Federation, as Ms. Shima earlier mentioned, because it's all taxable and followable money. So there's accountability through the Federation. If you have any time and you would like to help, please get in touch with us. Thank you.
And now on the phone, we have Director of Turkish Society of Canada, Çağdaş Önen. Çağdaş, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for hosting me, and greetings everyone from Toronto.
We don't want to take much of your time. We'll start right away. If you could start with the first question of what have we achieved so far in getting organized and raising awareness for the disaster that we are experiencing in our country, Turkey?
I would say, as Turkish Society of Canada, we reach out to all the stakeholders, the local stakeholders here in Toronto, and raise awareness for the event. We were able to gather all the required materials in a short span of time. So I would say our society worked really hard. In terms of the awareness, we had interviews with different media outlets, especially based here in Toronto. And in addition, we reached out to our local MPs, and also the ministers and the province of Ontario's office as well, to create the awareness from the Canadian political point of view.
Wow, that's a great achievement in a short amount of time. Thank you so much for everyone out there working that hard. And the second question is going to be, so do you guys have a long-term plan when it comes to sustainability of the donations we are receiving? We are experiencing or thinking that the event, the crisis we are going through at the moment, it is going to last longer than weeks or months. It seems like it's going to be around for years.
Mert, I would say this is a recent discussion within our association as well. Currently, we are just putting up the immediate fires, and we are sending the immediate needs. However, you made a good point. We need to just keep this momentum going on. Generally, in such situations, people are eager to make some donations or help right away, and then it starts fading away throughout the period. We don't want this to happen, so we kind of put in place immediate needs, mid-term needs, and long-term needs. Namely, mid-term needs will be, helping the students over there, and the long-term will be maybe helping them with their housing, etc. Not only for students, but for all the, people over there. So from the society point of view, we need to think long-term, and also we need to just keep the momentum and the awareness about this tragedy within the Canadian media as well. I think it's an important duty for all the Turkish community members here in Canada.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
And I'm very happy that we are a community so well knit that we gathered all across Canada so quickly and got organized, and that the Canadian community in general responded so well. We really feel home here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the last question is going to be, Çağdaş, do you have any recommendation when it comes to how can we unite and work better together? When you think about it, that Canada is spread on a very big landscape. So how can we unite better with Canadians, Turkish Canadians, and work together?
I would say the most important part is the communication. We should be aware of what each other is doing in their own local communities or provinces. I believe regularly meeting as well, it's really important, and keeping connected. In addition to this, Mert, I want to underline one important aspect as well. For instance, today on the Toronto Star newspaper, of course, the headlines were about Turkey. However, the news about the earthquake and the immediate needs of the country were only on the 11th page. There is one another thing we should do. We should be, closely connected to all the media outlets, and also the MPPs and MPs, as I mentioned before, for one specific reason. As Turkish Canadians living here, Canadian citizens, we are taxpayers, and our elected officials, they need to be aware of our, needs and requests. So we need to just keep this momentum and make sure that, we are getting enough coverage on the media side as well. For one specific reason, all the corporate companies, or even my company, is making some donations. But as I mentioned you, it shouldn't be one time, it should be a long-term plan. That's why I believe as a duty, we need to keep informed our elected officials and the media outlets as much as we can about the situation. How is the progress going on? As of this interview date, still Canadian government hasn't officially sent rescue teams over to Turkey. Only some volunteers, went there. So it shows that we still have, way to go to create this awareness and show our lobby power.
That's a great way to put it together, Çağdaş. Thank you so much.
Thank you for summarizing that so well, Çağdaş. But what I want to ask you is just day to day, you had mentioned that you already got organized and you're working really hard with the community to gather donations. Can you please share with us where the warehouses are and where people can drop off immediate physical donations? And if there's any other outlets where they can donate money as well?
What we are doing right now in the Greater Toronto Area, GTA, we have 2 drop-off locations. One in the North York area and one in Etobicoke area, very close to the airport. Not only this, within the suburbs of Toronto, in Oakville, in the Kitchener-Waterloo region, and also in the Windsor area, in the Niagara Falls area, there are different warehouses, especially, the local Turkish people are helping with this. So especially for the GTA colleagues, I recommend these 2 drop-off points. Again, one is in the North York area, one is in Etobicoke. And if you can check our social media accounts, we regularly update their places, the drop-off locations. Also, as a recent update, just before this interview, we were informed that currently the immediate needs from the Turkish, people, it's sleeping bags, tents, and also blankets. I think, people are donating other items as well, but due to the harsh winter conditions, these items are more, priority than others for the time being. So we encourage our members to prioritize these materials for now.
Thank you so much, Çağdaş.
Thank you very much. We have another phone guest right now. His name is Kemal. At the moment, he's stuck in Turkey at the region in one of the cities that are impacted by the earthquake. We will ask him in Turkish what's going on at the moment, and we'll have simultaneous translations followed after his speech. I'll give the word to Mert, and he can just lead from here on.
Kemal, merhaba, nasılsınız?
Teşekkür ederim. İyi olmaya çalışıyoruz.
Yayınımıza katıldığınız için çok teşekkürler. Bize hemen başlarken hangi ilde yaşadığınızı ve o ildeki durumdan biraz bahsedebilirseniz çok teşekkür ederiz.
Adana ilinde yaşıyorum. Depremden en az etkilenen bir yerdeyim. Buradaki hasar ve vefat sayısı 1000'e yakın. Komşu şehirlere yardımlarda bulunmak için seyahat ettik. Gittiğimiz bölgeler Hatay ili, Gaziantep'in ilçeleri, Kahramanmaraş'ın yakınlarına kadar gidebildik. Bahsettiğim bölgelerin tamamında bina yıkımları ve ölü sayısı çok fazla. Yani tek bir sağlam bina olmadığını söyleyebilirim. Ulusal ve yerel medyada yer alan rakamların çok üstünde. Hala ulaşılamayan çok sayıda enkaz var. Bahsettiğim bölgelerde kendi imkanlarımızla bölgeden topladığımız ve Türkiye'nin diğer yerlerinden gelen yardımları iletmek için araçlarımızla, kendi imkanlarımızla götürme şansına eriştik. Ancak bunların yeterliliği çok az. Gaziantep'in İslahiye ilçesi 60.000 nüfusa sahip bir ilçe. İlçede tek bir hasarlı olmayan bina yok. Yıkım çok yüksek. Enkaz altından çıkartılan canlı veya cansız insan sayısı sadece %10 diyebilirim. Gıda, su, temel ihtiyaç maddelerinden yoksunlar. Devlet, Türkiye Cumhuriyeti Devleti ve diğer uluslararası yardım kuruluşları ancak ikinci günün depremden olduktan sonraki 48. saatte ancak ulaşabildiler bölgeye. Biz gittiğimizde yeni yardımlar geliyordu. Enkaz kaldırma çalışmaları çok ağır ilerledi. Çok yüksek can kaybı var. İspanyol bir yardım kuruluşu, sivil kurtarma ekipleri oradaydı. Bölgeye ulaşmışlardı. İnsanlar Türkiye'nin ve her yerinden yardım göndermeye çalışıyorlar. Lojistik konuda çok büyük sıkıntı var. Çok fazla yardıma ihtiyacı olan insan var. Durum gerçekten içler acısı. Anlatmak istediğim şey şu, bu sadece Gaziantep'in ortalama en küçük ilçelerinden biri. Hatay ili Gaziantep bu İslahiye ilçesine çok yakın bir şehir. Kahramanmaraş'a çok yakın. Kahramanmaraş ve Hatay illeri 1 milyon ve üzerinde nüfusa sahip. Bunlar da maalesef bu ilçeyle aynı kadere maruz kalmış. Oralarda da aynı manzaralar var. Arada bölgede, ilçede, köyler vesaireler aynı durumda. Taş üstünde kalmamış durumda. Yani şu an 120. saate yaklaştık. Ve artık herkesin umudu tükenmiş durumda. Uluslararası yardım kuruluşlarının bir kısmı geldi. Ülke yetersiz bu konuda. Dışarıdan çok fazla, yani her yerden her türlü yardıma insanların ihtiyaçları var. Çok büyük bir yıkım var. Yani çok büyük yıkım var. Sağlam bina yok. O yüzden 60 bin nüfuslu bu bahsettiğim ilçeden başladım. 1 milyon nüfuslu, 1 milyon 200 bin nüfuslu Antakya'da, Kahramanmaraş'ta aynı kaderi yaşıyor. Orada da tüm binalar hasarlı. Elektrik, enerji nakilatları hasar görmüş vaziyette, şehirlere elektrik verilemiyor. Doğalgaz yok. İçme şebeke suları fay hatlarının kırılmasından dolayı problem yaşıyorlar. Çünkü kirli sularla, atık sularla içme suları birbirine karışmış durumda. Bölgeye giden yollar, büyük yarıklar, çatlaklardan dolayı ulaşım sıkıntısı yaşanıyor. Tam bir kaos hakim. Üzülerek söylüyorum, yani devlet otoritesi böyle olmasını istemezdik ama devlet otoritesi duruma çok geç el koydu. Çok yönetim zafiyeti var.
To be honest, coming from this one,
I will summarize in general. The answer to the previous question, but I would like to ask another question just to also show, yes, there is suffering, yes, there's obstacles, there's barriers, all of the infrastructure has been destroyed. So we know what's needed. We know there's a lot of crisis happening right now, but I want us to switch a little bit over to our strengths too. At the end of the day, we don't want to sit here and cry. We're already sad as it is, right? So just to cheer us up and also conclude this program on a positive note, because we want the positive moments to prosper, not the bad ones. Bad news travels fast, and we all know, what pain is, but let's close this on a positive note, because we're asking your support to have love and just your humanity. We want your humanity to spread. You already know our pain. We want your humanity to spread. Thank you. So, Kemal, olumsuz şeyler konuştuk, acıları konuştuk ama insan olarak, millet olarak güçlü olduğumuzu da biliyoruz ve birazcık olumlu şekilde kapatalım istiyoruz. Ki burada da umut olsun herkese. Yani hepimize olsun.
Umutlu konuşmak isterim ama şöyle söyleyeyim. Bölgenin tamamına yakınını gezmesem de kritik noktaların tamamını ziyaret etme şansımız oldu. Elimizden geldiğince yardım etme şansımız oldu. Ama gördüğümüz manzara pek iç açıcı değil. O yüzden çok olumlu cümleler kuramayacağım. Ama insanlar, şöyle söyleyeyim, olumsuz, en azından şöyle bir örnek verebilirim. Bölgede hayatta kalan insanlara biz şehirden, yaşanamayacak olan o şehirlerden uzaklaşması için telkinlerde bulunduk. Hatta bu şehirlerde benim yakınlarım, akrabalarım var, teyzem var. Kendi teyzeme şehri terk etmesine, Ankara'da çocukları var, onların yanına gitmesi için aracımız vardı, her şeyimiz vardı, götürmek istedik. Reddetti. Çünkü yakın akrabaları ve komşularının hala enkaz altında olduğu için onları bırakıp onların en azından sağ veya ölü hallerini görmeden oradan ayrılmak istemediğini söyledi. Hiçbir şekilde ikna çabası buna bir çare olmadı. Sadece bu teyzem için böyle değil. Her insan öyle. Yakınlarını bırakıp gitmek istemiyor insanlar. Türkiye'nin birçok ilinden, yani her yerden, Azerbaycan'dan, Yunanistan'dan, İspanya'dan, yani akıl almaz derece Japonya'dan, birçok ülkeden gelen yardımlar var, ekipler var. Herkes muazzam çalışıyor. Çok olağanüstü çaba gösteren insanlar var. Yani ve kurtulanların enkazdan 106. saate, 120. saatte, 99. saatte çıkartılan insanların çoğu küçük çocuklar. Bunun sebebi de gördüğümüz işte o küçük hava boşlukları, yaşam alanlarında kalabilmeleri, bu kadar uzun süre susuz kalmaları, yiyeceksiz, gıdasız kalmalarına rağmen hayatta kalabiliyorlar.
Kemal, çok teşekkürler yayınımıza katıldığın için. Senin sağlıkta olman, sesini duymak bize biraz da olsun rahatlık verdi. Ülkece olarak, Türk olarak başımız çok sağ olsun.
And we really want you to get united with your wife, you know? Your wife needs you here too.
Programı kapatmadan ondan da bahsetmemiz lazım. Ceyda Hanım'ın, eşinizin burada olması, sizin bu kadar uzaklıkta olup bu acı durumda Ceyda Hanım'a çok geçmiş olsun. İnşallah size çok çabuk bağlanabilmiştir. Sizin sağlıklı olduğunuzdan emin olabilmiştir.
Biz sağlıklıyız, iyiyiz. Umarım enkaz altındaki insanlar da bizim kadar şanslı olur. Muhakkak bir araya geleceğizdir. Umarım insanlar daha iyi olur, daha güzel olur.
Take care, Kemal. Be safe.
And right now on the phone we have the president of the Federation of Canadian Turkish Associations, Ms. Shima. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So for the Federation of Canadian Turkish Association, do we have a certain plan when it comes to the long-term sustainability and the donation flow so far?
We lack our own means to sustain fundraising. Once Canada public opinion moves on, and it will, we will be left alone as a community. We need to construct our community's own fundraising mechanisms and make it a part of our local community life, like many other established communities in Canada. This involves a charity with a tax-deductible donations capability and government contribution matching support. And as you can see, we have an understanding of achieving sustainability there, but we need ideas and expertise from community, other associations, Turkish associations, and cooperation from our existing charity organizations. Then maybe we can discuss this in detail another day.
May I ask a question? You have mentioned that we are in need of volunteers and that many of the local businesses that are located in Vancouver have opened their warehouses to gather the donations. Is there like a central warehouse? Everything is getting dropped off, or do you have any leads on the community members who would like to physically help for the initial needs? Where should they go?
We do. As a federation, we opened 3 warehouses. One of them is our federation building on 1170 Shepherd Avenue West in Toronto. Other one is with the support of one of our member associations in Ottawa, and the other one is in Quebec, same with the support of our member association. Other than these 3, we do have 2 main hubs that the Consulate is using to collect all the items from our warehouses to there for the final packing and getting them on the skiff and wrapping and listing the items that are donated. And other than those 5 locations, we have business owners and we have a couple of municipalities helping us, opening us their community centers. Kitchener-Waterloo is one of them, and Windsor is also another one that is getting support by a local church. In Niagara, one of our Turkish business owner opened up his business to us, same in Oakville and Woodbridge. So there are additional 5 places. I would say we have about 10 different locations that we collect donations.
Wow, that's really amazing, given that Canada is spread across so many provinces, and as a federation, you have managed to work across provinces and organize across provinces. So I think it requires a little bit of acknowledgement here, the hard work that you and all the volunteers are doing and will continue to do.
And all our associations as well, all Turkish associations. And Turkic country associations. I shouldn't miss them. We have great support from other Turkic countries here in Canada.
Phenomenal achievement in a very short amount of time. And Ms. Shima, I just have one last question, and after that, if there's anything else you would like to add, please. So we were wondering if there's anything you can recommend us to, how can we unite better and work on this crisis as one? Is there anything that you could recommend us for the Turkish Canadians all around Canada?
Sure. We are living in a digital world, and all my communication up to now with you was over the phone, over the internet, and same thing. We are using our digital sources, and some of us are just realizing this fact better with COVID-19, how digital is actually a big part of our life. So Canada is a big landscape, and everyone is so busy. From east to west, there are hours of changes, and there's only one way to connect with most, and which is over the internet. So please read our aims as Federation, who we are, and what we do on our website. Our website is turkishfederation.ca. There you will see our Twitter account, and which we use mostly for political messages to Canadian public and government. And you will also see our Facebook account, which we mostly use it for our own community awareness, for our events. I urge every community member to follow their own local organizations and us as well. And every local organization should follow each other and us. This is critical. We regularly meet with Canadian governmental organizations, and trust me, the level of attention is measured by the number of Twitter followers we have. I witnessed that. They ask right in front of us, how many Twitter followers we have, to their assistance. Understandably, they don't want to waste their time by going to individuals. They want to talk to people who can pass the message to thousands. This is why we see united communities are represented in the government unproportionally. So just to add, we are working with all Turkic organizations to create that impact as well. And I can say to a certain degree we achieved that.
Thank you very much. And we just want to acknowledge your time. Thank you for joining us and sharing all the information with us.
And now on the phone, we have the Secretary of Turkish Canadian Society and the President of ODTÜ Alumni Association of Canada, Sina Kutluay. Sina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. When the earthquake happened in Turkey, we came together as a new board and think about what can we do best to support, and decided that the most critical thing is to deploying the search and rescue teams to Turkey as soon as possible. So we prepare a letter template and together with the contact information of the Prime Minister, ministers, mayors, PMs, so that their community and the Canadian friends to send those emails that the disaster is really big, and the research and rescue teams needs to be deployed as soon as possible. As I mentioned, the disaster is huge, and as ODTÜ alumni, now we are releasing the donation link, that we will collect the funds to support Middle East Technical University students that are from the region.
Sorry that I'm interrupting you, just to clarify. When you're talking numbers of impacted students, you're talking of only the students, excluding their families. Is that correct?
Of course. The number of students currently educating in Middle Eastern Technical University.
Thank you. Talk to you again.
Mr. Kutlay, thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
We're thanking our guest speaker, and now we'll connect to Ulash, who is a volunteer and who will talk about donation locations in his region.
And then if you could tell us, since you're working at the donation center, Ulash, volunteering there, could you tell us what is the urgent needs at the moment?
At the moment, urgently, we need, as we learned from our general consulate, we are working with them. We need exactly tents, sleeping bags, and then also blankets. But we are not accepting used items. Those items should be brand new. But mostly, urgently, we need those items. After that, we need baby foods. But in Turkey, some areas, they couldn't find water for to prepare the baby foods. So we need liquid baby foods in here. I think they call the name is baby formula. And also feminine hygiene products and baby diapers.
Perfect. And if you could give us the address for the drop-off locations for your current donation center you're working for as well, that would be awesome.
Our current donation center address is 1046 Spears Road in Oakville.
Thank you for joining us and sharing this information with us, Ulash.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
We're thanking our phone guests for their time and are now moving on with our in-studio guest, Efe. He has been living in Victoria since high school, attended high school and college here. He has graduated, and he also happens to be from Adana, the same town that our previous phone guest Kemal is from. We would like to have his in-person experience in regards to what the geographics looks like, what the impact basically means to anyone who has lived in Canada for most of their adult life. Efe, would you please join us to tell us what your take on about the situation is?
Hello, thanks for having me. Hi, my name is Efe, and I happen to be from one of the cities that was unfortunately impacted by the disasters that we're witnessing now on the news, on the social media. I'm from Adana. Unfortunately, earthquakes have always been a part of living in Adana. One of my earliest memories is one of the great earthquakes that hit when I was a younger child.
Are you talking of the 1999?
Unfortunately,
yeah.
I believe that is the one.
Okay.
I remember everything just shaking in the house, and my parents just grabbing me and us fleeing to our garden. That's one of my first memories, which speaks a lot about the situation on the ground right now, unfortunately. One of your words actually resonated with me.
And the fact that, I'm not asking for your age, but it is a lifelong impact that you carry. It doesn't just go away because you are no longer under the rubble or no longer living in a half-broken building.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. When an earthquake of that magnitude hits you, it's very hard to forget, regardless of your age, regardless of your safety. I was never under the rubble. Luckily, I was safe, but everyone from my city knows someone who's either under the rubble right now or someone who's dead, unfortunately. So it is very important for us to stick together in this case and do what we can, because like you said earlier, us being so far away from home, regardless of how much we do, what we do, we always feel like it's not enough, and it takes a toll on all of us, especially those of us from that region.
And especially knowing that we're not cold, we're not hungry, you know, and that's what I meant, like the purpose of this fundraiser is just really to bring it a little bit closer to our understanding here, in our day-to-day life here, because what's happening there right now, it's unfathomable for us in our warm homes, you know?
A lot of people seem to forget that that region of Turkey is mountainous, and it's prone to extremely cold winters and tough conditions. So a single rock slide on a major road can halt traffic for months on end. Bad air conditions means there's no airlift possible, or only the bravest of the brave pilots can actually make it in safely and make it back out. So under these conditions, it is amazing to see how people have united under a cause of just helping each other. Because people, us from that region, we share a bond of being from that region, from southeastern Turkey.
And we want to, this is just the time to also kind of like explain what we had announced earlier during the fundraiser and why we named the fundraiser Help Türkiye, despite the earthquake affecting the whole region and across borders. We are a group of Turkish or of Turkish origin volunteers, and we do not see ourselves knowledgeable enough, and also having like on-site local other volunteers to report on what's going on. That's the only reason we are naming this Help Türkiye, but you being from the region, you can actually talk to how diverse of a community that region is and how we support each other, right?
Of course, I mean, the region is the cradle of civilization, right? That's where a lot of civilizations rose and fell. And me being from that region, I was lucky enough to call people from many backgrounds, many cultures, friends, family, colleagues, classmates. And again, Turkey being the largest host of refugees, for example, from the war in Syria, we already have a large population of people from other backgrounds and other cultures.
So those three cities, Kahramanmaraş, Adana, Gaziantep, those are the main receiving cities of the refugees in the Middle East, that being Syria and all other impacted further neighboring countries. So when we talk about Help Türkiye and like the geographical region impacted in Turkey, we're also actively talking of displaced already once that we know of, displaced people who had been living for years and years in the refugee camps that now are on top of that impacted and destroyed by the earthquake. Please.
So, yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, a lot of the camps, the major camps are within the earthquake region, and they have also been further impacted once again by a major catastrophe beyond their control. Yeah. And we are not to say we do not care about any other region. Again, when I talk about home, I talk about a region. It's beyond borders for us.
People, it's not nationalities.
Definitely.
We're talking of people, not nationalities.
Definitely.
Everybody needs to understand that. You know?
It is really important to do what we can for anyone within our power, and we are doing it for everyone in our region. And unfortunately, there's a lot of unfortunate events that clog our flow of information from time to time, and we have to get past that somehow.
And which through is the expected in times of crisis.
Unfortunately, yes, these things do
During
happen.
During COVID, our province, BC, also declared state of emergency, just as a reminder to everyone.
Yep. So basically, again, while fighting these fights and while seeing all the negative that's happening, it's also just as important to see what good we have been doing, both as Turkish Canadians, and as Turkish people. I mean, we have a team from Burnaby in Adıyaman right now, digging the rubble. I think it's something that we can definitely celebrate and definitely should recognize.
Absolutely.
We should be proud about it.
I am, definitely, as a British Columbian,
so
I'm very
grateful.
proud.
And for all those people who raised all of the, not only the Burnaby team, for everyone who is a member, has volunteered time, anything, search and rescue teams all across Canada, all across the world, we don't know. They do regular trainings, and there's a lot of work involved into it too, right? Yeah.
There's a lot of untold work that's happening behind cameras. I even took to Twitter to celebrate search and rescue dogs. There's a whole thread about them now. It is just very important to remember, and I'd like to underline this point. People from that region, regardless of how far away we may be, I mean, we're in a studio in Victoria, BC right now. We hear you, we see you. Your pain is our pain, and we're here for you, and we're going to do everything in our power. Me as an Adanian, and my colleagues as people from other cities, we're united in your cause.
And final question, if it's not too personal for you, just would like to know that your family, your relatives, your friends in the region are still okay.
Yes, thanks for asking, and I'd definitely have to answer that question. I moved alone here when I was 16, and I've been alone since. And yes, all my family, friends, the ones that I was able to contact, are safe. Some are displaced, some will be for a while, but health comes before all, and they're all safe, and they all say hi to you guys. And
in a crisis like that, it's not only our families and friends being safe, but it's also the humanity's sake of people suffering and fighting for their lives. We'd like to thank everybody who joined our communications, our program this evening over the phone, in person. We'd like to thank Shaw for communications, giving us the space, the time to record this and helping us to air. Maybe next time, if we ever do something like this, we'll do it in a much positive note, but this time as Turkish Canadians or Turkish people, we need your help more than ever to support our country, the affected regions, and support one another. It is time to unite and be stronger than ever. Thank you.
Thank you for watching us. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for continued support. There are multiple platforms through which you can show your support in many different ways of your choosing, and we believe and we trust that you will always be with us. Thank you.